God says, "My child, the devil is making you do a big sin which will make your life hell. I am doing my job. Rest is your call to listen to my guidance and resist the temptations of the devil. Remember, I am always here to support and guide you. But ultimately, the choices you make will shape your own destiny. Trust in me and choose wisely, for your eternal happiness depends on it. Listen to me for a while and decide you will keep doing this sin or not. I understand that every time you give in to temptation and commit a sin, you feel disheartened and disappointed in yourself. But remember, it is never too late to turn away from your mistakes and seek forgiveness. By resisting the temptations of the devil and making conscious efforts to make better choices, you can regain your self-confidence and find inner peace. Trust in my guidance and believe in your own strength to overcome these challenges. You always have a thought, how could God forgive me this time? He loves me still, child. Let me assure you that God's love is unconditional and His forgiveness knows no bounds. But to keep hurting God, not listening and ignoring His sign will only distance you further from His love and forgiveness. It is important to reflect on your actions, ask for forgiveness sincerely, and strive to make amends. Jesus has done so much sacrifice to protect you, but you often face temptation needlessly. Instead of avoiding the source of temptation, you find yourself drawn towards it. Remember that God's forgiveness is always available to you, but it is up to you to make the conscious choice to turn away from temptation and seek His guidance. Remember, if your right eye makes you stumble, it is better to pluck it out and enter the kingdom of God with one eye than to have both eyes and be thrown into hell. Jesus emphasized the importance of taking drastic measures to avoid temptation, highlighting the seriousness of our actions and their consequences. So make the necessary changes in your life. Surround yourself with positive influences and constantly seek God's strength to resist temptation. By actively resisting temptation and seeking a closer relationship with God, you can experience the fullness of His love and forgiveness in your life. My child, if you keep doing sins like this, hell will become your eternal destination. However, if you choose to resist temptation and follow God's path, you will find everlasting peace and joy in His presence. Remember that God's grace is greater than any sin, and He is always ready to welcome you back with open arms. And hell is a place of eternal separation from God, where there is no hope or redemption. It is a consequence of rejecting God's love and choosing to live in disobedience. But by turning away from sin and seeking forgiveness, you can avoid this fate and instead experience the abundant life that God has planned for you. Remember, it is never too late to turn to God and receive His mercy and grace. Remember, sin is like a magnet. The closer you get to it, the stronger its pull becomes. It may seem enticing at first, but it ultimately leads to destruction and emptiness. By staying away from sin and choosing to follow God's commandments, you can protect yourself from its harmful effects and live a life filled with purpose and fulfillment. Don't let the temporary pleasures of sin deceive you. Instead, focus on the everlasting joy that comes from a relationship with God. Child, your soul is too precious to be consumed by the fleeting pleasures of sin. Remember that God's love and forgiveness are always available to you, no matter how far you may have strayed. Seek His guidance and strength to resist temptation, and allow Him to lead you towards a life of righteousness and eternal blessings. Keep watching and praying, for the enemy is always seeking to deceive and destroy. Stay vigilant in your faith, constantly seeking God's wisdom and relying on His strength to overcome temptation. Remember that through prayer and staying connected to God, you can find the strength and courage to resist sin and live a life that is pleasing to Him. Trust in His unfailing love and mercy, knowing that He will never abandon you on your journey towards righteousness.